The difference between people who stay standing when the economy fluctuates and those who collapse is not the amount of money they have. It lies in the small disciplines they repeat every day. There is a financial principle. If you truly understand and apply it, it can protect you from most mistakes when the economy becomes unstable. I will share that principle at the end of today's video. But first, you need to face a hard truth. The economy does not make you poor. The decisions you make in moments of panic do. Have you ever felt your heart sink when hearing news about a recession? Have you ever spent money to soothe your anxiety or made financial decisions simply because you were afraid of being left behind? I used to be like that. I used to think that if I just earned more money, I would be safe. But then I realized the problem was not income, it was discipline. When the economy fluctuates, the market does only one thing: it reveals how you were already living before. It is like the tide. When the water recedes, you discover who was swimming without preparation. A crisis does not create bad habits, it only magnifies them. Wise people do not wait for the market to stabilize before they change. They change first. They build an emergency fund first. They cut emotional spending first. They invest in skills first. And most importantly, they build discipline first. Today, I will share with you 7 success principles that help you stand firm when the economy fluctuates. These are not short-term financial tricks. This is discipline. These are daily habits. They are the foundation that helps you remain calm when others panic. And stay until the end of the video, because the final principle, the principle of financial discipline repeated every day, could be the line between 5 years of growth and 5 years of regret. Principle 1, they do not react, they prepare. When the economy fluctuates, most people react. They react to the news. They react to the market. They react to the fear inside their own minds. But wise people are different. They do not react, they prepare. Like a farmer who understands the seasons. He does not get angry when winter arrives. He does not panic when the weather turns cold. He prepares firewood in autumn. He stores food before prices rise. He repairs the roof before the storm arrives. Winter does not make him poor. Lack of preparation does. When the economy fluctuates, the first thing you must understand is this. Volatility is a cycle. Markets rise and fall. Opportunities come and go. Interest rates change. Prices increase and then adjust. This has happened for decades before, and it will continue to happen. The question is not whether the economy will fluctuate. The question is, have you prepared for it? I have witnessed difficult periods when many people panicked and sold their assets simply out of fear. They did not look at the long term. They looked at short-term emotions. And emotions are always the worst financial advisor. I once made the same mistake. There was a time when I allowed the news to control my decisions. I watched other people act and thought I had to do something immediately too. But then I realized something. Rushed action is not always intelligent action. The difference between successful people and those who fail in a crisis is not the speed of their reaction, it is the level of their preparation beforehand. When the economy fluctuates, those who did not prepare try to save the situation. Those who prepared simply continue their plan. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm when everything around them is shaking? Not because they do not know what is happening, not because they are unaffected, but because they built the foundation beforehand. They have an emergency fund. They have skills that can generate income. They do not live beyond their means. They do not depend on a single source. That calmness is not luck. It is the result of discipline. Imagine a ship in the open sea. The waves may be high. The wind may be strong. But if the hull is reinforced, if the sailors are trained, if the route has been calculated, then the storm is no longer as frightening as it seems. People who do not prepare fear the waves. People who prepare focus on the helm. And here is the important part. Preparation does not begin when the crisis has already arrived. Preparation begins while everything is still calm. Many people think they will figure it out later when things get worse. But when the economy truly fluctuates, you do not have many choices left. You only have your reflexes. And those reflexes are the habits you built beforehand. A crisis does not create character. It reveals character. If you have lived with discipline, you will respond with discipline. If you have lived impulsively, you will respond impulsively. I learned that every major change always begins with a small awakening. The awakening that you cannot control the market, but you can control yourself. When the economy fluctuates, you cannot control prices, but you can control your spending. You cannot control interest rates, but you can control how dependent you are on debt. You cannot control other people's decisions, but you can control the skills you learn every day. Preparation is a quiet action. No one applauds when you save money. No one praises you when you refuse emotional spending. No one notices when you spend time learning a new skill. But when the economy fluctuates, those quiet actions become the shield that protects you. And I realize something. Wise people do not wait for motivation to act. They act because they understand the consequences of not acting. They prepare not because of fear. They prepare because of responsibility. Responsibility to their family. Responsibility to the future. Responsibility to themselves. You may not control the storm, but you can decide whether your roof is strong enough. Ask yourself one very simple question. If your income were cut in half tomorrow, would you be calm enough to think, or would you panic? The answer is not in how much money you earn. It is in how well you have prepared. And that is only the beginning. Because financial preparation is just the first step. The next principle will make you reconsider how you use every dollar each day, and it may be the real reason many people fail when the economy fluctuates. Principle 2. They build an emergency fund before they need it. There is a very simple truth that few people want to hear. Financial freedom does not begin with investing. It begins with protection. When the economy fluctuates, people without an emergency fund live in a constant state of tension. Every piece of bad news feels like a direct blow to their mind. Every small change in income becomes a major threat. But those who prepared are different. They are not instantly richer. They are not immune to hardship, but they have time. And in a crisis, time is the most valuable asset. Imagine two people working at the same company. Both are hardworking. Both have families. When the economy fluctuates, the company is forced to reduce staff. One person has no savings at all. The other has enough living expenses for 6 months. Who will make the wiser decision? The first person is forced to accept any job that can pay immediately. Pressure makes him rush. He has no space to think. The second person can remain calm. He has time to evaluate opportunities. He can learn new skills, find a better position, or even start a small project of his own. An emergency fund does not only protect your money, it protects your ability to think. I ignored this principle during the early years of my career. I thought that earning money consistently was enough. I did not see the need to keep some aside for things that might never happen. Then one day that might happened. Income dropped. Expenses were still there. Pressure began to accumulate. And I realized that I had built a beautiful house, but without a foundation. I learned that lesson through stress and sleepless nights. An emergency fund is not idle money. It is peace of mind. It is the buffer between you and panic. When the economy fluctuates, wise people do not ask, how can I make more money immediately? They ask, do I have enough to stand firm if things slow down? A simple principle I always recommend, at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses, not income. The actual cost required to maintain basic life, rent, food, utilities, essential expenses. This is not greed, this is defense. Remember this, in soccer, a strong offense matters, but if the defense is weak, you still lose the match. Finance works the same way. You may invest intelligently, you may work hard, but if you do not have basic protection, even a small fluctuation can knock you off balance. Someone once told me, I do not earn enough money to save. I understand that. But an emergency fund does not begin with a large amount. It begins with a habit. 10%, 5%, even a small amount set aside consistently each month. The issue is not the starting number. The issue is the commitment. When you save before you spend, you are telling yourself, I am responsible for my future. And I realize something profound. People who do not save are often not lacking money. They are lacking clear priorities. Economic volatility is not the time to start accumulating from zero. It is the time when you discover whether you have prepared enough. Ask yourself, if your income stopped for 3 months, how would you feel? Calm or panicked? That answer reflects how well you have built your emergency fund. An emergency fund will not make you rich, but it prevents you from becoming poor because of a single mistake or unexpected event. And interestingly, when you have a reserve, you make better decisions. You do not need to borrow at high interest because of an unexpected incident. You do not need to sell assets when prices are low. You do not need to accept unfavorable conditions simply because you lack options. Reserve money buys you the most valuable thing, choice. During periods of economic fluctuation, those who have choices always have the advantage. But this is only the beginning, because you may have an emergency fund, but if you still spend emotionally, if you still let money leak away little by little through careless decisions, that protection will slowly thin out. And that is exactly where the next principle appears. The principle that will make you look directly at how you use money every day, and it may change the entire trajectory of your finances if you dare to apply it. Principle 3. They cut emotional spending. When the economy fluctuates, the dangerous thing is not prices rising. The dangerous thing is emotions rising. Fear rises. Anxiety rises. Comparison rises. And when emotions rise, reason often falls. Wise people understand something that many ignore. Money does not leave your pocket because the economy is bad. It leaves your pocket because of emotional decisions. Have you ever had a stressful day and then treated yourself to something you deserved? Have you ever spent money to feel like you were not falling behind? Or bought something not because you needed it, but because you wanted to feel better in that moment? I used to be like that. There was a time when I thought spending was a way to prove I was moving forward. I upgraded things I did not truly need. I told myself I deserved it, but deep down I knew I was covering insecurity with material things. And when the economy fluctuates, those habits become a burden. Emotional spending is like a small leak under the bottom of a ship. At first, you do not see anything serious, but over time, the water rises, and by the time you realize it, it is too late. When the market is unstable, many people spend more, not less. They buy to soothe fear. They borrow to maintain their old lifestyle. They protect an image instead of protecting stability. But wise people are different. They do not let emotions hold their wallet. They understand that in periods of economic fluctuation, every dollar carries more weight, not because it is rarer, but because mistakes are more expensive. I once watched two business friends in the same industry. When the market slowed, one person kept the same lifestyle as before: a new car, a bigger house, unnecessary expenses. He believed that everything will be fine. The other did the opposite. He reviewed costs, cut what did not create value, focused on cash flow. No one applauded him. Some even said he was too cautious. 2 years later, the first person had to sell assets to pay debt. The second person bought those assets at a good price. The difference was not talent, it was discipline. Emotional spending is often disguised very cleverly. It comes as a reward. It comes as, I need a break. It comes as a way to prove to others that you are still okay. But ask yourself, are you spending money to build your future or to protect your ego? When the economy fluctuates, people who cannot control emotional spending will gradually lose control of their financial life. They do not realize that every small decision accumulates. Every unnecessary expensive meal, every item bought out of comparison, every small loan taken to maintain an image, all of it adds up into pressure. And financial pressure is the fastest destroyer of calm. I learned that financial success is not making a lot of money. It is keeping more money than you spend. And that requires self-discipline. When you cut emotional spending, you do not become miserable. You become intentional. You start asking, is this truly necessary? Does it bring me closer to my goal? Or does it only make me feel good for a few minutes? Wise people understand that emotions are temporary, but financial consequences can last for years. They do not cut all joy. They only remove decisions that weaken their foundation. And I realized something important. When you can control emotional spending, you begin to control yourself. Because money is not just a number. It reflects inner discipline. When the economy fluctuates, undisciplined people look for ways to make more money quickly. Disciplined people look at how they are using each dollar right now. They understand that cash flow does not depend only on income. It depends on behavior. Like a garden, if you water the right places, the plants will grow. If you let water run everywhere, the soil will erode. Money is the same. If you direct it, it will work for you. If you loosen your grip, it will leave you. Try one simple thing this week. Write down every expense. No judgment, no justification, just observe. You will be surprised at how many decisions are made because of emotion, not strategy. When the economy fluctuates, wise people do not let the market decide their lives. They decide how they respond. And that response begins with small choices every day. But even if you already have an emergency fund and you have controlled emotional spending, there is still something more important that determines your long-term stability. Because you can be very good at saving, you can be very careful with spending, but if you do not increase your own value, you will always depend on circumstances. And that is where the next principle appears. The principle of investing in something no one can confiscate from you, even when the economy fluctuates. Principle 4. They invest in skills that can generate income. When the economy fluctuates, many people ask a familiar question. How do I keep my job? But wise people ask a different question. How do I become so valuable that no matter where I am, I can generate income? That is the difference. A job can disappear, a title can change, a company can shut down, but skills, if built the right way, will stay with you for life. I have met people who put their entire future into one job position. They believed stability was in the chair they were sitting in, and when the economy fluctuated, that chair shook, and they shook with it. On the other hand, I have also met people who did not cling to the chair. They clung to their ability. They could sell, they could present, they could organize, manage, negotiate, analyze. They understood that income does not come from the company. Income comes from the value you bring. When the economy fluctuates, businesses cut what is not essential, but they keep the people who create clear value. The question is not, where do you work? The question is, what do you bring? I once made the mistake of thinking that years of experience were enough. I believed that if I just worked hard, opportunities would come on their own. But I realized something. Hard work does not replace capability. Some people work for a long time, but their skills do not grow. Some people work fewer years, but keep learning continuously. And in periods of economic fluctuation, the second person often has more opportunities. Imagine two employees in the same sales department. When the market slows, revenue drops. One person only knows how to follow the old script. The other spends time learning better communication, understanding customer psychology more deeply, improving persuasion skills. When the company has to choose who stays, who will have the advantage? Skills are the only asset no one can confiscate from you. Money can be lost. Markets can change. But what you know and what you can do, if truly solid, will always create new opportunities. When the economy fluctuates, people who do not upgrade their skills will feel stuck. They depend on a single income source. They fear change because they are not confident in their ability. Wise people are different. They treat every slowdown as a chance to learn. Instead of panicking, they read more books. Instead of complaining, they take training programs. Instead of waiting, they practice. And I realized something profound. In difficult economic times, the busiest person is not the one working overtime. It is the one studying overtime. Learning is not only to know more. Learning is to become more useful. Ask yourself, if you lost your current job, what other skill could you use to generate income? What could you teach? What could you advise on? What could you sell? If the answer is not clear yet, that is not a reason to be afraid. It is a reminder to begin. When the economy fluctuates, security does not come from an employment contract. It comes from personal capability. I once watched a friend in accounting. When the market slowed, many companies cut staff. He did not only know bookkeeping, he understood cost management, cash flow analysis, profit optimization. When businesses struggled, they came to him for advice. Volatility did not weaken him. It made him more necessary. That is the power of skills. But skills do not appear naturally. They require discipline. You have to make time while others are being entertained. You have to practice while others procrastinate. You have to be patient when results do not come immediately. When the economy fluctuates, people without skills compete by offering a lower price. People with skills compete by offering higher value. And value is always more sustainable than cheap. I learned that success is not finding a safe place. Success is becoming the person who has value anywhere. Remember this, the market does not pay for your needs. The market pays for your abilities. You may need money badly, but if you do not have the right skills, that need does not create income. On the other hand, if you have strong skills, opportunities will come to you even when the economy fluctuates. When you invest in yourself, you are building a portable income engine. You are no longer entirely dependent on circumstances. You carry your value wherever you go. But this is still not everything. You can have strong skills. You can work hard. But if you go alone, your opportunities are still limited. Because in periods of economic fluctuation, new doors often open through people. And that is exactly the next principle. The principle of building relationships strong enough to lift you up even when the market is pulling down. Principle 5. They expand high-quality relationships. When the economy fluctuates, many people focus on money. They think that if they have more money, they will be safer. But wise people understand something deeper. Money can open doors, but people are the ones holding the keys. In stable times, you can go alone. You can do good work and things can still run smoothly. But when the economy fluctuates, opportunities are no longer sitting out there waiting. They move, they shrink, and they are often hidden behind relationships. I once heard a very true saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. When the market shakes, you will see that clearly. If you are in a group that always complains, always pessimistic, always fearful, you will absorb that energy. You will start seeing everything through a lens of hopelessness. But if you are in an environment of people who think long-term, who focus on solutions instead of problems, who keep learning when others stop, you will start acting differently. When the economy fluctuates, your network becomes an invisible support system. I have seen people lose their jobs but not lose their direction because they had high-quality relationships. One call, one referral, a new opportunity opens. On the other hand, I have also seen talented people who were isolated. When a shock happened, they did not know who to turn to, not because they lacked ability, but because they did not build bridges. Relationships are not for exploitation. They are a long-term exchange of value. Wise people do not only ask, "What can I get?" They ask, "What can I contribute?" When you help others grow, when you connect sincerely, when you keep your credibility, you are sending a powerful signal about who you are. And credibility in relationships is like an emergency fund in finance. You build it before you need it. I once changed the environment around me. I started joining professional meetups, serious conversations about work and personal growth. At first, I felt small, but I realized if I want to raise my standard, I have to be in an environment with a higher standard. And when I changed my environment, my income changed too. Not immediately, but gradually. When the economy fluctuates, people with high-quality relationships not only find opportunities faster, they also keep a more stable mindset. Because they do not feel alone, they have people to exchange ideas with. They have people who offer different perspectives. They have people who remind them of long-term value. Relationships also help you see opportunity in crisis. While many people only see the market shrinking, a small group sees new needs emerging. And often, you learn about those opportunities through someone. But remember, high-quality relationships are not about quantity. You can have hundreds of acquaintances, but if you do not have a few relationships deep enough, you are still alone. Wise people choose their environment carefully. They stay away from conversations that revolve only around bad news and complaining. They seek people who talk about solutions, strategy, and personal responsibility. When the economy fluctuates, pessimistic people will pull you down. People with a growth mindset will pull you up. Ask yourself, are the people you spend the most time with lifting you up or holding you back? If tomorrow you needed an important referral, do you have someone to call? If you have a new idea, do you have someone knowledgeable enough to give you honest feedback? Relationships are a long-term investment. You do not see the return right away, but when you need it, it becomes powerful leverage. I learned that you cannot go far if you always go alone. In periods of economic fluctuation, community creates strength. Not a noisy community, but a community with value. Wise people build relationships the way they build an emergency fund, consistently, intentionally, and before the crisis happens. They keep their promises, they respect other people's time, they share knowledge, they are willing to support when they can. And when it is their turn to need help, they do not have to start from zero. But even if you have good relationships, even if you have strong skills, even if you have prepared carefully, there is still one factor that determines how far you will go in periods of economic fluctuation. Because volatility can last longer than you think. If you only look short-term, you will get tired. You will lose patience. You will give up easily. And that is why wise people always possess something even stronger than money and relationships. That is long-term thinking. The next principle will help you understand why the most successful people do not panic in volatility because they are playing a longer game than most people. Principle 6, they think long-term. When the economy fluctuates, the first thing being tested is not your money. It is your patience. A lot of people start acting based on short-term feelings. They look at 3 months. They look at 6 months. They look at the numbers right in front of them. But wise people look farther. They look at 5 years. They look at 10 years. They look at an entire cycle. The economy has never moved in a straight line. It swings. It adjusts. It recovers. Short-term thinkers see every fluctuation as a disaster. Long-term thinkers see it as part of the process. Imagine a fruit tree grower. If every day he digs it up to check how long the roots have grown, the tree will never grow. He understands that some processes cannot be sped up by impatience. Money and success are the same. When the economy fluctuates, short-term thinkers ask, how do I get out of this situation as fast as possible? Long-term thinkers ask, how can I use this phase to strengthen my position? I have seen many people sell great assets just because of temporary fear. They do not look at real value. They only look at the fear right in front of them. And then a few years later, when the market recovers, they regret it. I learned that patience is a competitive advantage. In periods of economic fluctuation, most people lose patience. They want results now. They want stability now. They want the feeling of safety now. But long-term thinking gives you an advantage. You do not need to win today. You need to win in the journey. That does not mean you are passive. It means you act strategically. You keep saving. You keep learning skills. You keep building relationships. You keep upgrading yourself. Even when results have not arrived yet. Wise people understand that in a volatile economy, opportunity often shows up as a challenge. When others retreat, you can move forward. When others panic, you can buy value. When others stop, you can learn. But only if you are calm enough to see beyond the present. I have gone through periods when nothing moved the way I hoped. Income slowed. Plans were delayed. I could have chosen to shrink my dreams. But instead, I chose to strengthen the foundation. I read more. I improved my speaking skills. I reanalyzed my strategy. A few years later, those seeds started to sprout. Long-term thinking is not blind hope. It is belief based on laws. The law of cycles. The law of accumulation. The law of repeated discipline. Ask yourself, if you do not change today, what will your life look like 5 years from now? And if you start building a strong foundation today, where will you be 5 years from now? When the economy fluctuates, short-term thinkers only see loss. Long-term thinkers see positioning. They do not only ask, what am I losing? They ask, what am I building? This requires inner maturity, because it is very easy to get pulled into the news every day. It is very easy to react with the crowd. But wise people understand that the crowd often acts on emotion, not principles. And I realized something. If you want different results, you cannot think like the crowd during volatility. Long-term thinking helps you stay on course. It is like a compass. Even when the sea is rough, you still know where you are going. But there is something even deeper than long-term thinking. Because you can understand cycles, you can see far ahead. But if you do not have a specific discipline system to repeat every day, all that understanding will not create results. And that is the final principle. Not flashy, not loud, but it decides everything. The principle of repeated financial discipline. Principle 7. They understand that financial intelligence is repeated discipline. If you forget everything I said before, remember this. When the economy fluctuates, the people who stay standing are not the smartest. They are the most disciplined. Financial intelligence is not knowing a lot of terminology, not predicting the market correctly, not waiting for one big opportunity. It is the ability to repeat the right behaviors even when no one is watching. Most people think financial stability comes from one big decision, a good investment, a well-timed deal, a bold move. But the hard truth is, your future is usually decided by small decisions repeated every day. Do you track your spending? Do you save before you spend? Do you learn a little more each day? Do you avoid unnecessary loans? These things sound simple. But because they are simple, people ignore them. When the economy fluctuates, undisciplined people start searching for fast solutions. They want how to make money in a crisis. They want a leap. But wise people return to the foundation. They review the budget. They adjust spending. They intensify learning. They stay calm. I learned that success is not accidental. It is a chain of correct decisions repeated long enough. A person can make one good financial decision, but if the next day they return to old habits, the result will not change. Financial discipline is like working out. You do not get healthier because you train for one day. You get healthier because you train for many years. In periods of economic fluctuation, a person with a discipline system will not need to make dramatic decisions. They only need to keep doing what they have been doing. They save consistently whether the market rises or falls. They learn consistently whether income is high or low. They live within their means no matter what others brag about. And that creates strength. Repeated discipline turns small actions into big results. Not immediately, but certainly. I used to think I needed one big breakthrough, but then I realized what I truly needed was small consistency. A steady amount saved each month. 1 hour of learning each day. One valuable conversation each week. Those things do not draw attention. But over time, they create a very large gap between you and the undisciplined. When the economy fluctuates, people without a system rely on emotion. They save when they are afraid. They spend when they feel confident. They change strategy every time they hear new news. People with a system are different. They have clear principles. They have clear limits. They have a clear plan, and they do not change them just because of outside noise. Ask yourself, do you have a clear personal finance system, or are you deciding month by month, emotion by emotion? Financial discipline will not make you rich overnight, but it will make you stable after many years. And in a volatile economy, stability is the biggest advantage. I realize that people who succeed long-term are not successful because they never face hardship. They face a lot. But they do not break their principles during hardship. They do not dump value just because of fear. They do not borrow to maintain an image. They do not quit learning just because income temporarily drops. They repeat discipline day after day. And then one day, when the economy recovers, they do not just survive, they break through. Because while others are trying to recover from emotional decisions, they are ready to move forward. Financial intelligence is not knowing more than others. It is controlling yourself more than others. And that is the line between 5 years of growth and 5 years of regret. Which will you choose? Will you choose the hardship of discipline today, or the hardship of regret tomorrow? When the economy fluctuates, many people look for reassurance from the outside. They want the market to stabilize. They want prices to go down. They want jobs to be more secure. But as I shared today, real stability does not start from the outside. It starts from within you. We have gone through 7 success principles. You do not react, you prepare. You build an emergency fund before you need it. You cut emotional spending. You invest in skills that can generate income. You expand high-quality relationships. You think long-term. And most importantly, you build repeated financial discipline every day. Economic volatility is not your enemy. Lack of preparation is the enemy. Volatility does only one thing. It reveals how you were living before. If you have lived with discipline, you will be calm. If you have lived with a plan, you will be steady. If you have built the foundation, you will not fear the storm. Ask yourself one very serious question. Over the next 12 months, will you keep reacting emotionally or start building your own discipline system? Which principle do you agree with most in this video? And which principle do you need to start today? Leave a comment below. I want to know where you are on your journey. If these lessons truly touched you, hit like and subscribe to keep going with Jim Rohn Treasures, where we do not chase short-term motivation but build a long-term foundation. Success is not a destination, it is a journey you persist in every day. And maybe today is the day you start building a solid foundation for your future.